guys, can you believe that we just travelled over 2,000 kilometres from Melbourne up to South East Queensland to visit my mum's 6 acres of self-sufficient rural homestead. Can't wait to show you guys, let's check it out. Hi, baby. So mum moved here about 2 years ago. She's currently on 6 acres worth of land and everything is pretty much 90% self-sufficient. She's really intelligent with the way that she uses her water, growing of her own food, her livestock, and also just a few other ways that she becomes more sustainable but also more cost-effective with the way that she manages the 6 acres. I'll first of all show you the greenhouse. She's currently growing everything from either seed or cuttings. She's got a whole variety of different plants growing here and they grow from different stages. So you can see here she's got her herbs, her succulents. She also has a lot of shaded area because it gets really hot here over summer, so she needs to make sure that it's shaded as best as possible. She also has a combination of indoor plants and outdoor plants, as well as a lot of her vegetables that she starts from seed here and then plants them into the veggie garden, which we'll show you shortly. She has a lot going on here and not everything obviously survives, but it's a far more cost-effective way than going to a nursery and buying your own plants. You can see she also uses things like an ironing board or old tables that she's recycled or found from different places, and that's her way of making sure that she's as self-sufficient as possible, as well as not spending an arm and a leg to get this set up. It's got her shed here. It just collects a lot of the rainwater and it goes straight into these tanks. So this has been a godsend for her because it's how she is able to keep watering her plants, especially when it comes to summer. Sometimes she'll be watering these plants twice a day. So it's really, really important that she has enough water to keep her going. And this has worked really, really well. Alba, come. This is also Dusty, Mum's dog. And if you've watched any of her other videos, this is Alba. She is really enjoying not being on a balcony garden and having all of this space to roam around, which is awesome. You'll also see all the hay bales here. So the hay bales she's been using to line all of her garden beds. It also helps with droughts because it keeps the soil moist for longer. It also helps with removing any weeds from her new garden beds that she's building up and just helps for the overall nutrients in the soil. They're very heavy and we've rolled out a few of these and it's definitely a gym workout. Not that there's a gym where she lives, but she doesn't really need it. So behind me is one of the recent additions to the garden, which is the flower garden. Mum made this because she wanted to make sure that she had enough beautiful flowers to attract as many bees as possible, and that will definitely help her with all of her fruit trees, which I'll show you later on, as well as her beautiful veggie patch. So let's have a look at what she's growing in her flower garden at the moment. You can see also the dogs love it, which is great. Not everything are flowers. She's also got some mulberry plants. The mulberry plants are absolutely thriving. They're really sweet. You can see she's also added things like lavender, which is a great pollinator attractor. And her plan is eventually this will all be flowers, so you won't see any of the hay in between. But because she's grown all of this from seeds or cuttings, it's been a longer process, but it's definitely going to be worth it. And she's also made sure to include some beneficial plants as well. So you can see here she's got nasturtiums. She's got them growing dotted around her garden. Nasturtiums are a really great plant for attracting beneficial insects, but it's also great for deterring a lot of pests in the garden. Because Mum is really focusing on having a very holistic approach to her garden, she doesn't use any chemicals or pesticides. A really fun fact about nasturtiums is you can actually eat the whole plant, including the leaf, but you can also eat the flowers. It has a really nice peppery taste like wasabi. So we've got 2 more rainwater tanks. In total, she's actually got 8 rainwater tanks. These ones, again, fall off the roof of the carport. And then she's also got some rainwater tanks on the other side that fall off the roof of the house. Have a look at her chicken coop, if you want to call it that, or large chicken hotel, and turkeys, if you didn't hear the turkey in the background. So I'm honestly so impressed with this. So Mum, she hired a local man to help her build this, but overall I think the total cost including labor was around $1,000. Just have to keep an eye on Alba because she's decided that she likes chasing the chickens. What are you doing? Come here. Hello, darling. Should we go have a look at the horse? This is not Mum's horse, by the way, it's just the neighbor. We should probably go back to the chickens. Another thing that we do not have in Melbourne on our balcony garden. So in here is the nursery area, if you will, for the turkeys, and then the hens that have the baby chickens and baby turkeys. So Mum's been breeding the chickens and the hens for about a year now, and she's had quite a successful amount of chickens, turkeys. They're very cute. She gets about 8 to 10 eggs every single day on average. Some days not so much, some days more. That is a lot of eggs. I calculated that's around like $2,000 worth of savings of eggs that she's getting in a year. Very rarely are the chickens in the coop other than at nighttime, just to protect them from dingoes or foxes. And then this is Gobble. Gobble is the male turkey. He's actually really tame and very sweet. And then we have the other turkey over here. There's 2 female turkeys. And then we have Barbara, which is the mother sheep here. And then Barbara has 2 little baby twin lambs. Oh, they're friends. Hey, Barbara. But Gobble over here speaks. So this is the best party trick ever. Ready? Gobble. Gobble! Pretty cool. They all talk. So this large cement thing is the septic tank. So again, because Mum is very regional, there's no access to town sewerage or town water. So this is the septic tank that she uses. The way that the septic tank works is it takes any of the grey water from the house and it brings it over into the septic tank, and there's essentially microbes help turn the water into less contaminated water to apparently 1 step away from drinking water. This is an apple tree, although it's looking a little bit dead.
No, it is dead.
Okay, it's dead. Mum has said she doesn't want to be filmed, but you'll have her commentary in the background because it's her place. This is a pink grapefruit tree. All of this was here when Mum moved in a couple of years ago. Fruit on it makes incredible pink grapefruit cordial, which Mum has made. We also have that as a cocktail with vodka, and it's really good. It's another lime tree. Or is this the only lime tree that you have?
Yes.
Yes, the only lime tree.
Lemon.
Lemon tree. And you can see all of the new flowers are starting to come through. How many lemons would you have off this?
Oh, this one I cut right back, so it hardly has any lemons this year, but
it'll have a lot.
It will have next year.
Yeah, we've got bananas. So one fun fact about bananas, every time that a tree has a bunch of bananas, the tree then won't be able to produce any more bananas and it actually dies back. So what Mum does is she cuts it, and it has so much water in the base of it, and she then just puts them down the bottom here to compost back in, and then more suckers will come through and create a replacement for that banana tree, and then the cycle of bananas will continue. So I have to be a little bit worried about snakes just because there's a lot of snakes in this area. Mum tries her best, well, she does do a really good job of maintaining the property and keeping it as tidy and neat as possible, but even with that, with things like this or any areas that can be a little bit more bushy, she has found snake quite often, and she also got bitten by a snake as well, which is a story for another time, unless you want to talk about it now. She's a bit shy. What do we call this one?
Japotico, or however you say it.
This one, the name will be on the screen because we don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Japotico,
something like that.
And it produces fruit.
Grape-like fruit on the stem.
Grape-like fruit on the stem. This tree here is finger limes. Finger limes are a real delicacy at the moment, especially in Australian cooking, although they're incredibly sharp and spiky. There doesn't seem to be any finger limes growing on it at the moment. And then behind the finger lime tree, we've got another one of the Japotica, don't know how to pronounce it. So this is the ice cream bean tree. Ice cream bean tree. It's only had fruit on it once or twice.
Yeah, it has a pod.
It has a pod. Oh, so it's not fruit.
It's pod. You eat the pod.
You eat the pod.
Inside the pod.
Inside the pod. That's really interesting. I'd never heard of them before. We've got another banana plant that looks like it's almost ready. This is the Brazilian cherry. Back one is strawberry guava. We were talking about getting bitten by a snake. This is where it happened. This was all overgrown, and you can see that this is where the asparagus shoots are starting to come up. And there was we don't know exactly the type of snake, but we think it was a king brown snake.
That's brown.
We think it was a brown snake. A very aggressive brown snake, and Mum was whippersnippering and cutting back everything here, and she felt a large bang, almost like something was punching her in her leg, and then she looked down and she had the snake bites. She went to hospital. She did the right thing. She wrapped the snake bite very, very well, which is something that we all probably get taught or should get taught in Australia, how to wrap a snake bite. And luckily, when she got to the hospital, it turned out that the snake never actually injected any venom. It never venomated. It bit her, like there was snake wounds there, but it never actually released any venom. Snakes can often trigger like a warning bite to be like, back off, get away, before they decide to release any venom, and that's luckily what happened to Mum. Except for young snakes. They can't control their venom. They're on their L plates, essentially. They don't know what they're doing. So you don't want to get bitten by a young snake. You'd rather an old, mature snake that's not as violent. Big, massive tree is a guava tree, and there's already fruit. You can smell the fragrance of the flowers, so there's already fruit starting to come. We've got a mango tree, and then we've got a massive navel orange tree, and you can see there is so many flowers on this orange tree, so hopefully gets a really good season of oranges. Do you like my pointing stick? This is a pear tree. Here we have a peach, and you can see the peaches are starting to come forward, and you can also see that things are starting to eat them. This one is a nectarine, little hairy peaches starting to grow. And how long do peaches and nectarines and all of these usually take before they're ready to eat?
When they're ripe.
Yeah. So you'll know when they're ready to eat because they'll be ripe. We have a mandarin tree and a plum tree. The lemons like water, but they don't like wet feet, and they do love a lot of fertilizer, but you can see this one here is thriving. It did have a wasp nest on it, but it looks like it's going pretty good. It also looks like you don't have any gall wasp at all, which is great considering if you watched one of my earlier videos, you will see I did a video on gall wasp, which we have in Melbourne on the balcony garden, but it looks like Mum's pretty good with gall wasp. You do have some leaf miner damage.
And what I use on that is full cream milk.
Wow, on leaf miners.
And
spraying the foliage with full cream milk, sea salt, and a little bit of water.
No, a lot of water.
And a lot of water, and you spray over all of the foliage, and that's what Mum uses late in the afternoon, and that's what Mum uses to treat the leaf miner and also just keep the health of the plant. Yep. Awesome. Here are the grapevines. We spent ages, I think like a year ago, putting bags over each of the grapes, and then Mum harvested all of the grapes and they were so sour you couldn't eat them, but being so self-sufficient as she is, she didn't want to waste all of the good grapes, so she ended up soaking them in contro for a week and then making jam out of it, and it took a long time because every single grape had seeds in them, and Mum went through and de-seeded every single grape. How long do you reckon it took? Many, many hours, but it tasted beautiful and it was good because otherwise you can't really eat the grapes. Starfruit tree or a carambola. Please tell me in the comments if we're saying that wrong or it's pronouncing it wrong. We have another pear tree, and again you can see all of the beneficial plants around the base of the pear tree. I know Mum put a lot of manure on all of these plants and got them into a really healthy position, because when she inherited these, when she bought the house, a lot of them were not looking anywhere near as healthy as this, so manure has done wonders. And hay, lots of hay. Here we have a kumquat tree. Again, it's growing so healthy. Do you cut these back? Yeah. And it's variegated. She also uses this in jam. And then this is a kaffir lime leaf tree. Andy and I are definitely going to be taking some of these leaves to come home with us to Melbourne, because we cook with these a lot, and just putting them in the freezer. They freeze very well. It doesn't look like there's any fruit on them, but you can see there's some more flowers starting to form.
There's the fruit there.
Oh, that's what the fruit looks like.
Sprinkly lemon. Here, Andy.
That's the dead. Oh, I've seen these.
Sprinkly lemon.
And what do they taste like? We're thinking this is a peach. It looks like a peach. It's definitely a stone fruit of some type, and it's fluffy.
There's a white peach and a pink peach, or whatever they're called.
You heard it here first. Got a nectarine tree here, and again all of these trees get watered from the dams actually, which we'll show you in a little bit. So all of these wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mum's dams.
I bought the dirt. It was very great, for potting.
Yeah.
I then was digging it up, putting it in the wheelbarrow, and next minute I've obviously dug a snake up. Put it in a wheelbarrow, next minute it doesn't know where to go, it's getting out of the wheelbarrow.
Oh God. Dusty. 1, 2. Count to 2. Yes, good boy. So it's been a couple of days, and I wanted to now take you to the vegetable garden and the dams, but first we're going to feed the lambs. This way. Are we ready? Are we hungry? So So the veggie patch is just over here. Before we go to the veggie patch, I just wanted to show you a little bit of the native plants that Mum has growing in her property. These again were inherited, so she doesn't actually know, excuse the rooster, she doesn't actually know all of the different types of plants, but they're fantastic for bird life, and as you can hear, there's a lot of birds out here, as well as attracting bees and pollinators. Now let's have a look at the veggie garden. Into the veggie garden, I just wanted to show you the outside and how it's built. It was built with poly pipes that create the dome structure, and then it's also got a fine mesh over the outside to protect it from the heat, but also protecting it from things like hopefully snakes and also things like cane toads. Mum gets a lot of cane toads here in South East Queensland, as well as rats or mice. But it's really important to have big enough mesh that you can still allow pollinators or bees to go inside. Let's have a look what she's growing at the moment in October. Now, we've spoken about snakes a lot in this video, and I know I said that it's designed to keep out snakes, but sometimes there are snakes in here, so we just have to be mindful when we're walking around. Here we have Mum's chili plant. Normally it has prolific amounts of chilies, but we've just come out of winter, so it's looking a little bit sadder or worse for wear. With the ground or the soil in the veggie patch, she really focuses on the quality of the soil and the way that she creates nutrition for the plants. She does a lot of things like fertilizer, the chook poo or the sheep poo goes directly into the garden, as well as using her own compost and using premium potting mix. She also uses things like blood and bone. If you've watched a lot of my TikToks, you know I'm a big fan of blood and bone, manure, and a good compost. Here we've got a mix of different vegetables. She's got her cabbages, which are still growing really strong. Cabbages are usually more of a winter vegetable, but she's still got quite a lot growing at the moment. We've got parsley, celery, which she just chops as she goes, silver beet, more parsley. Over here we have her Brussels sprouts, which is looking insane, but she has yet to get any Brussels sprouts off them. But if you have a look really closely, you can see that there's a lot of Brussels sprouts about to come through. If you've never seen this before, this is actually a broccolini plant, but what Mum has done is she's allowed it to go to seed, so that way she can collect all of these seed pods and start reusing those seed pods to replant the seeds next season. Here we have her beetroot. She only uses heirloom varieties in her garden. She's very passionate about making sure that she keeps using ancient heirloom varieties. The beetroot, we've got the onions, and then we have randomly a pawpaw tree. The pawpaw tree will not be able to grow any higher, otherwise it's going to go through the wiring, but already she's got a whole variety of different pawpaws, which is awesome to see. In the back here we've got carrot mostly, and some more beetroots as well. Again, Mum just picks them as she goes and picks them as she needs them. And we've got some more broccolini, not too sure what that is. Tell me in the comments if you know what that is. And she also makes sure to have things that offer more pollinating, attracting benefits, like some flowers in the veggie patch as well. She's also got some strawberries just down below. Normally in summer, if you were to come back here, this would have a huge amount of beans or zucchinis or cucumbers growing on it. At the moment, she's kind of in that in-between phase, but we'll do a video when we come back next time and you'll be able to see just how luscious these areas are when she grows a lot of her climbing plants. Down here, she has some baby plants. So she's got some lettuce that's just starting to grow. She's also got some more onions, chives, again, collecting the seeds off anything that she can. So she's got more cost-effective ways of replanting. In the background, you can see we've got some beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. These are all heirloom tomatoes. So that's the veggie garden. This looks different every time we come back and visit, but now I'll show you the dam so you can see a little bit more about the water that she has to water all of these crops and fruit trees. Now let's go check out the dams. You might be wondering why there's these big piles of sticks. This is not for a bonfire. If this was lit up, this whole place would go on fire. These are all gum trees, and gum trees have a lot of oil content. So essentially, if you lit a match here, they would explode like a bomb. So to be really fire conscious, what we do is we actually pick up sticks every morning, put them here, and then these will either be used as mulch or chopped up or used as firewood. If you're not from Australia, this might seem like a really weird phenomenon, but this is essentially what happens every year. With our gum trees, they start to shed every year. And when they shed, they end up looking absolutely stunning. And this drops a lot of bark onto the ground. Again, this could be a fire hazard, but Mum likes to tidy it up. She mows it quite often, and then again, she can use it as mulch on her plants. But this is why all of the trees look like they're shedding their skin. They are. Mum has 3 dams. She only uses this water for watering her gardens. She doesn't drink the water, and she uses a gravity fed pump to feed all of the water up to the house, and that's how she uses it. Using a gravity fed pump means that she doesn't have to use a lot of electricity to get the water back up to the house. And you can see the dogs also love it as a swimming pool. We won't take you further up the back, but there's way more land down the back, and we often see kangaroos there, especially in the morning or in the afternoon. Some of the kangaroos are literally my size as well, so we don't like to go there too often because we don't want the dogs to get into a fight that they won't win. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you found this interesting, let me know in the comments below and I can create more videos just like this one. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video.